Hello, Boyle Heights. It is 6 o'clock p.m. Tuesday, January 28th, 2020. You're listening to KQBH LA 101.5 FM, community service of the Boyle Heights Art Conservatory. My name is Michael, and you're listening to EastSide Community Radio. And today we have some guests with us here. We also got a guest on the phone. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Yeah, this is Purple from EastSide Cafe. I'm a community organizer. I also run Women's Circle, and I run the WOC Sister Collective page.
Hi, I'm Maritza Torres.
Hi, my name is Angela Flores. I am one of the co-founders and co-facilitators of the space, and I'm pretty much involved in a lot of the collectives there, especially handling the mercados that we have.
And we have Maritza. Maritza, introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Maritza Torres, and I'm a local artist, and just been working with the Women's Collective for a little while. Really enjoyed them.
Yeah, Maritza, actually, fun fact, made my logo for the WOC Sister Collective, so she's an artist.
Cool.
And she's participated in the Women of Color Scene and Print pop-up, which is why we're here. We want to talk about all the events that we're going to be having in March. One in particular, which is a Women of Color Scene and Print pop-up. And I guess we can start with just how we got started with that idea.
Right.
So I'll pass it to Angela, because I know she knows a little more about that.
Yeah, okay. So like I said, I'm one of the co-founders and co-facilitators of some of the collectives at the EastSide Cafe. We, the EastSide, as you all may know, is an autonomous space that's located in El Sereno, Northeast LA, and we got our start in our home, actually, in 2002, and then didn't become an actual space until 2004. And with that, learned along the way that we needed a lot of people who can contribute to the community in creative ways. So we started having all types of events, whether it be political, cultural, artistic. And I was approached by the founder of Nalgona Positivity Pride. Her name is Gloria Lucas. She is a Chicana who does a lot of education around eating disorders and providing community support for people of color with eating disorders. And she boosts up their energy, and she talks about reclaiming your power. And we met one time to talk about having the Mujer Market, which is this really great mercado that she curates, but also she proposed that we do the first Women of Color zine and print pop-up. And so we actually talked about it, and for a whole year we didn't do anything until the following year. And we hosted it, and it was amazing. We had all types of people come down, not just women of color, but just everybody who appreciates women of color art. And we really, really need something like this, because it was just very impactful for the community to see that there was a space for young women of color who can express themselves. So we were just really excited to have that. Gloria has since moved on. She has the mercado, the Mujer Market, with her that she kind of takes around with her, like, nationwide. And then we kept the Women of Color zine and print pop-up. So we're going to have the next one pretty soon, and hopefully people can become more aware about what we're doing at the EastSide Cafe in terms of the print pop-up.
Yes, definitely. So the next one is on March 28th, so save your calendar dates. Because I know that that month is going to be a very eventful month. A lot of orgs and collectives will be having events. But this is a very unique event where, like Angela mentioned, we highlight a lot of artists and printmakers. And as you know, like zines, I don't know a lot of history about zines, but I know that the zines that I've encountered with help like kind of really advocate for like movements. Like I've seen like Know Your Rights scenes. I've seen like self-care scenes, different scenes on like just giving information. We have a scene at EastSide Cafe to inform everybody about our collectives and what we do and how we were inspired by the Zapatista movement. So I know that scenes have, you know, it's a really good way, it's a platform to kind of really bring, you know, just movements into the light in a creative way. Yeah. So we're going to have a lot of artists that are going to be doing that. And then printmakers, as you know, art is a form of expression. So just really giving a platform to women to be able to share their art, to be able to share their words, even like poetry. We've had many vendors who, and artists who just have really amazing art. And one of them is Maritza, who, you know, she's joining us today. And I wanted her to just really highlight even her perspective as an artist, as far as like how the event, she's participated in the event. And now she's part of the organizing crew. So she's organizing with us and she's going to be creating the art for the flyer. So for us, it's really important. One thing that Angela and I talked about and the rest of the collective is that we really want to include more of the artists in the planning of the WOC Zine and Print pop-up because it's so important. So we were able to we actually recruit Mestica as well, who's going to be helping us out. But right now we have Maritza, so I'll give Maritza the mic so that she can talk a little bit about her art and the event.
Yeah, well, as far as the event goes, I'd like to say that zines are really important, I think, because it's a self-publishing kind of thing that anybody can do. And the reason why I would say they are important is because factually, like, a lot of the people that make zines are women of color, and this is like one of the only platforms where you can publish your own work and not have to have it be filtered or like made for a certain audience or fit into like a certain mold that will make it sellable. So a lot of our stories are not published because there's not quote unquote maybe a lack of interest. So some of the subjects that we deal with, people don't know about because they don't have to deal with those things. So I would say that's like one of the most important things about this event. And then I would also say that I don't know of every event going on, but all the time, but I'm pretty sure this is like one of the first women of color zine and print events that I've seen
within LA.
Anywhere.
Right. No, yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong, and I would love to like shout out like any events that are out there because I think they're really important.
Yeah.
But that's just like where it's at. So I think it's really important for us to support each other.
Right. It is like a way for, it seems like the last maybe 10 years or so, zines have really taken off as a way for people to express themselves and get their own poetry, their own writing, their own photography out. Me and Angie were part of a group, like a photography group, and we were like, oh, how do we get our work out? Like, and we were like, let's make a zine. Let's make a photography zine.
Yeah.
So it is kind of a way of not waiting for anybody to come and give you the chance to publish your work.
Yeah.
Like you have the power to just to do it yourself.
Yeah, and it's affordable.
Right.
I know that Gata Salvaje, shout out to Gata Salvaje, she has a tenant rights zine, and she has other really, really cool zines as well. But like some of the vendors, some of the artists that we've had, like printmakers even, we've had Caliarte, Adriana from Caliarte, who makes really cool art on like Zapatista, and it's really awesome to be able to just see all the women all in one place and feel empowered to be able to share their art and to have, because like you mentioned, Maritza, it's not common to have that. And it's nice to just build sisterhood in a room full of amazing, strong mujeres who have a story and have something to say, and they're expressing that through their zines, they're expressing that through their art, and like even, you know, other forms of art and poetry, and getting it's affordable. You're able to do it on your own, and you have your own creative process of that. Like no one has control. You have the autonomy to be able to really create something that is true to you. And I think that's very inspiring to be able to have that. And so a lot of the artists that we've had and scene makers, another shout out to another scene maker, Korean Angry, who has really cool, amazing scenes and has like little, they're like really cool. They take pictures of, like, they make like little puppets or little, and they take pictures and they tell a story. And it's really awesome. Yeah, her story. And it's just really awesome to be able to see that, because that's very unique. I've never seen anything like that. So shout out to her and other, you know, printmakers that have come. And like Mujeres de Maíz has a zine that has.
Right. They've been putting one out for years.
Yes. And they have like poetry. They collect poetry. They collect pictures and stuff like that from like many different artists. So I know we've had them in the past, and we had, you know, many. I can't recall all of them from the top of my head, but just being able to see everybody's. We've had people like come in from like San Diego, from up north, to be part of it, because it is something that they don't see in their own communities. So we want to make sure, like, if it is happening, yay, but want to be able to put that platform so that it can inspire other communities to be able to do that as well, you know. And so I think that's a big reason why we continue doing it, is because it's something that it's really empowering to the women that come and participate in that event. And so I know that all month of March we're going to be having several events. One of them, we're bringing Nicole from Northern Southern Winds to talk about human trafficking and missing and murdered Indigenous women. So that's going to be, we're trying to schedule that out. I've been in conversations with her, but I think that's something that we definitely need to highlight during that Women's Month at EastSide Cafe. And so she'll be having a panel, and we'll be bringing in other people to come and speak and really inform the community about that, as well as having a workshop on self-defense. I know that Claudia Lara from our collective, from EastSide Cafe, Claudia, from the Warriors Jiu-Jitsu program. That's something that we have been doing as part of the Women's Circle. And as far as like the Women's Circle, we're going to be having, you know, highlighting whatever events we have that March. It's still in the planning phases. But yeah, we're excited. I know Angie has other events that have been in the work, like a punk show and all that. So she could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. We're in conversation with some musicians, some members from the group Ella, who is a punk rock group from, I think, I'm not sure if it's Southgate, but they're going to be helping us host like a kind of like a variedades event where we have just anyone who wants to express themselves, whether it be poetry or theater or anything, any type of like performance art. So we're definitely looking forward to that, as well as being in conversation with Chella Coleman, who is talking about having an all LGBT cutie pop night. We're going to call it Queer Apocalypse. And yeah, it should be really exciting.
Super exciting.
That's great.
So everything's on the works for that. But you know, we've been trying to be. It's just so many things. I know everybody's having so many amazing events in March, so we're trying to come up with the dates and solidify that and putting them out on the page. So those of you who are following EastSide Cafe and the Woke Sister Collective. Stay tuned. We will be having those dates out. We're in the planning phases currently, and we're, looking for a women of color artists, women identified who would like to be part of the Women of Color Scene and Print pop-up. So we are currently now, we posted all that information on the EastSide Cafe page, and the link is on the bio for the Instagram page. And I believe the link is on the Facebook page as well. But we definitely, if anybody's interested in and is an artist and has ideas, we're looking for an all-woman band. I know last year we had Oscura Luna come perform.
Nice.
They're so awesome. Shout out to them. They were so awesome. They brought so amazing energy in the event, and so we're looking for some bands to come perform, because I know we want to make it also interactive and have food vendors, and so that you grab a bite to eat while you're reading your zine, and then check out a band afterwards, and just come network and meet all these amazing artists and find out their story, and find out a little bit of what they do, and support their art, support their business, and really just come out, because that's what it's all about. It's supporting community and supporting these women, and because a lot of them, this is their livelihood. So definitely coming out and supporting with that event. But I'm gonna pass it to Angela to talk a little bit more about how we got started and what's next, what's in the future for more events.
I think that's it. I think that's what we're working on right now, and hopefully, the important thing right now is to get more artists involved, and so if you're listening, or if you could help us repost and get people to participate, that would be really great.
Yeah, my vision is that this continues to grow, and one day we're able to close that street, Maycrest, have a block party, close out Maycrest, and have a huge stage and bands and all these scenesters and printmakers and just food vendors, and just let's make this big, let's make this huge.
That's a really nice vision. That's great. Yeah.
That's been my vision. I'm putting it out there so that we can definitely bring it into the light, and it can come true for the future years. But definitely, we're really excited to be hosting these events in March, and just really talking about putting that platform out there for women. And to come, and I know we had Latinas for RJ last year come and do some workshops on connecting with our ancestral roots, and they had different speakers.
Maybe we'll get them again. I gotta talk to them.
Yes.
I guess too, a vision for me, personal vision, would be more on the political end of things, and really acknowledge women of color artists who don't get acknowledged in the art world.
Yes.
And don't get the pay that they deserve. So I think this is definitely a space to empower each other, of course, but to also let the world know, we had to do this ourselves. You give us no choice, but to really start creating those representation spaces for ourselves. And that through these stories and through these zines, we're providing alternative education that no one else is going to get, in a academic book or whatever. We're going to have to be the ones to bring those different topics up to consciousness. So I think for me, it's just about raising consciousness with artists and talent, tremendous talent that we have in our community. So hopefully it grows and that more people are involved. This is just our third
our third. Yeah, you
Yeah,
brought up a
so-
really good point. Yes.
Gotta do like an awards. You know, like
Yeah.
an awards, not an awards show, but like, you know,
Yeah.
Like maybe scholarship.
Some sort of
or I don't know,
recognition.
Scholarship, something like
yeah.
Yeah.
to support, you know, because there's a lot of young people who want to be artists,
right?
you know, and you know, they may or may not be getting the support they need so that they're successful because they're
Probably not.
right?
Right.
And it's like art is a form of expression. It's important, and I think you brought up a really great point. Angie, about you know, that's knowledge that we're sharing through the zines, and it's important. It's not knowledge that you're gonna get, you know, and it at an institution. Like, that's, you know, knowledge that you're getting from your community, from straight from the source. So I think that's important, and, you know, bringing and then that's beautiful too, because I know last year we saw a lot of young people come, and so that's my goal too, to like go and form more of the like universities and the like high schools and middle schools, so that they can come and see like, hey, your art, like you can make like a really cool zine with your art. Like this is a way and a form of expression. What is your vision, Maritza?
I mean, to me, I feel like this is a great way to give women like a choice to be able to choose themselves, to support themselves. I think a lot of times, if you're not given that choice, then you have to be part of spaces that maybe don't want you there. So this is a really great way for like to build on that. It's something that it's like maybe a way that we are changing the way that we're thinking. Like maybe before it's like, oh, I wanted, like, I'm an artist, and like the way that I'm gonna make it is I'm gonna like get sponsorships from these big like brands, and that's how I'm gonna make it. But maybe you won't be able to tell your story fully doing that, and there's not another alternative. So this is kind of like a way to build in the community, like for yourself.
Yeah, I agree. And like I've been seeing a lot of more women who are creating their art and like going from scenes to like t-shirts to like, you know, buttons and like, you know, for me I think it's important to support them. You know, when I was coming up with the Women of Color Sister Collective and I wanted a logo, I wanted to make sure I was supporting a woman artist and a woman of color artist, you know. And so I was asking around. And Maritza, that's how I met Maritza, because my roommate Xochi actually got her logo from De Colores face painting from Maritza, who, fun fact, Xochi found out she was really good at like creating face painting at EastSide Cafe while she went for the Dia de los Muertos. And,
That's
you know,
right, yeah.
yeah, and they
She
asked
tells
her.
that story a lot. Yeah, that's nice.
And they asked her, like, hey, do you want to face paint? And she, like, did. And she realized, like, oh, I'm really good at this. And she started a side business. And she's really good at face painting. Like, she gets all these, like, inquiries to go and support, like, at birthday parties, at events. And so she was able to make something really awesome. You know, that's her form of art and expression. And if you know Xochi, she's like super talented in so many. Yeah, Xochi. She is like talented in so many things. But she was the one that referred me to Maritza, and I knew Maritza through the mercados and the zine print pop up. So I was like, hey, I need something really awesome. And, you know, I told her my ideas and she captured exactly what I wanted. And I think that's important, you know, and that's part of like even going into the scene pop up and seeing like these artists and supporting their art and supporting their vision. And I know that you create even your own art. Like, can you talk a little bit about like the art that you make and how has it been for you, like your journey?
The journey has been long. It just took me a really long time to like understand what my own style was, where I wanted to show, what it meant to show in certain spaces, like what efforts were being made, where, and like understanding like the whole scene, I guess. So it's a lot for a young artist to take on, and it's I think even harder for like a woman of color. You can be misunderstood. You can whenever my partner would stand next to my artwork, even if we were standing right next to each other, and it's a pieces about women, always they would be like, "Oh, your work is really great. Is this your work?" Or if he was just touching it or holding it, and no one ever thought it was mine. So, you just have to be resilient, and kind of I see like that you can, but the good thing is you can choose who you work with. If you're having a negative experience with somebody, you don't have to have that experience ever again.
Right.
Yeah.
So but then you have to be like maybe more tenacious if you want to be able to support yourself and to also like support causes that you believe in. So for instance, when we worked on the logo together, it was great. Like that was exactly what I wanted to do. And it was really natural and organic. And I think that's the thing that maybe artists don't realize. It doesn't always have to be like painful, soul crushing.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's important to talk about because, this is many artists that are, experiencing that, and which is part of why like they're coming to the event, I think, and finding that platform. But, other events, and I know that Angela is an artist as well, and like in many forms. She's like very creative in so many ways. And like, how has your journey been, Angela, as far as like in the art world?
Yeah, I used to be a visual artist. Actually, I paint a lot. I did a lot of paintings. Worked with oil. I never really did zines. Maybe just one or two, like Michael said, with Elefante, through like film, video, photography. But I know like crafts, and the beauty with zines is that it's just super crafty, and you could just, whatever kind of, looking at zines is like an outlet, and making sure that you just get that creativeness out, and that it's something that's very DIY. So for me personally, it's inspiring. It's inspiring to kind of go back into the visual arts. I lean more music, and I'm just more of a musician nowadays. But I definitely would love to get back into painting.
Beautiful. I'm getting inspired. I'm thinking of like definitely having some scenes, working on something for Women's Circle, because I think that'll be really special. Because I know they always ask, like, I'll lead meditations, and so like a self-guided meditation scene, like that's more like something that I think of doing. Like, okay, I could totally do that. I'm not that great at like drawing, but like I can try, or I can hit up Maritza and be like, hey, this is my vision. I can come up with the words and the guided meditation, but the art.
But, the thing about zines is like it doesn't have to be a certain way.
Yeah.
Right. It could be whatever you want.
Yeah.
I've been making these zines out of like recycled stuff, just like my friend's mom's mantel. That's plastic.
Yeah. Now we're talking. Okay, I could
You could do anything.
Yeah, I could do something like that. I
You
could
get out of anything.
I gotta just let the creative juices flow and just be creative. And I think that's, being able to see other women do that, it's very inspiring. But definitely, I think the scenes, it's important, because it's true. It's getting that message across, and getting, your story out there, and then like also as a platform to inform others on resources of support. And I just think it's very neat, like seeing like women use it, and just people in general using it in a creative way. I always feel like, I'm always surprised, and like, oh my God, they can't believe they came up with this like really rad zine on like like knowing your rights or tenant rights, and like I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, I wish I would have had this earlier. And I'm like, but now I have it, right? And then sharing it.
I saw one on cannabis and depression.
Wow, yes.
Like eye-opening.
Yes. I purchased
literally.
One. Yeah. I purchased one on somebody was there, a sister was there, and she had one on Purepecha, and I'm from from Michoacan, and so I was reading it and I was like, wow, like I never thought I would find that in a zine.
Because usually if someone's talking about something like that, it's like a scholar.
Yeah.
Maybe someone that's not from there.
Yep. You're
seeing it from like a filter.
Yes. Yeah. And she had like just words, how to say like simple words in Purepecha. And so for me, and then the drawings, I was like, oh, this is so awesome. And then history. And so it was really awesome to relate to that and from her story and her perspective and her vision, because I can relate to that. I can relate to how my parents, came from there, and like just a back and forth of learning, our history and learning where we're from and learning our culture, So it was really cool to see that in a zine.
Yeah, that's what I like about them, is that they're like incredibly accessible. You can make them as accessible as you want.
Yeah.
And there's nothing like holding a book in your hand or so, holding it in your hand as opposed to flipping through it on a tablet or on your phone or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like just holding it, I don't know what it is about. It's just like something about books.
Yeah.
The physical, the touch of it.
The touch, yes. Yeah. And going through it. I'm thinking that because we had last year women who weren't able to make it who mailed zines.
I was going to ask.
Yeah.
To talk to you about that. Maybe we could have
a zine library.
Like that, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Angela? Let's have a zine library.
Yeah.
Definitely to display, like everybody leave a zine, and now we have these like cool zine rack, at the collective, and like, just having them so that people, when they come in, they have something to look at versus like, a magazine or something else. Now you're having something that's really creative and awesome that we can share and people can add to it, I think that's important, having that zine. I've been thinking about that, but I didn't think about it in that way.
Yeah.
A zine library.
That sounds great.
What's the feedback that you've gotten from some of the people who have attended?
Yeah.
There's been 2 so far, right?
Yes.
2 events?
Yeah. So we always get a lot of vendors. The space right now that we have with EastSide Cafe and the Caracol in the back, like we have a good amount of space. But there's so many, we're getting like lots of people applying and stuff like that. So that's why my vision is to grow it so that we can have more space. But it's been so good because people come and support. Like I've been seeing people from different communities come. But the artists, the thing that I hear from the artists is they just really appreciate having the platform. Just having the platform, and that it's a unique, fun event. Because you're bringing in like all artists. It's really a platform for artists to come and share their art. And having the bands adds to it, like, and really just having a day to build sisterhood and a day to just really network with other women, knowing people's stories, and just it's a really good atmosphere. I feel it's like raising that consciousness, how Angela mentioned, in a different level, and I think that it's important that this event is a platform for women of color to come and share their art, but it's an event for anybody to come and support these women. Yeah. So like anyone can come, because that's something that people always ask, like, oh, can I come? I know it's a, and I'm like, yes, come support. Yeah, definitely come support. So I think, definitely having that platform, continuing to give women this space to be able to share their art, share their stories. But I would love to hear what Maritza thinks, because I know she, from an artist, like what has been your experience?
I would say, like, for me, I think that the women who participate choose to participate specifically to support the space, because they see what, I think they see your vision.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's their vision too.
Yes.
So I think that, you know, it's like community building for everybody. Everyone sees that like the future could be different. We can change things, and you know, it kind of takes a while to like change the mentality of like, oh, you know, maybe this is like a an extra expense to get like something like this, but then when you think about it on a daily basis, you're spending your money on Starbucks, you're going to Target, you're buying your chucherias, and then you know who are you really supporting? So here you can see like you're talking to the person, you get to meet them, you get to like hear what their vision and like it's like from you to them.
It's supporting community. Definitely supporting community. So a lot of the events that we're having at EastSide Cafe are to support the space, to support, you know, the programming, and it's really like keeping everybody, the community in mind, and that space is everybody's. That space is the community space, and so it's important that we continue doing events that are for the community, you know, because that's what we thrive on. That's what EastSide Cafe has been, and that's why I fell in love with the space. The minute that I went in there, and I just was like, man, this is just a really good energy, and you know, it has kept me there. It's like it's real work. It's work that it's making a difference. I feel it, you know, and so it's my second home. It's my home away from home. And, you know, a lot of the women that come to even Women's Circle, like they say the same thing, you know, so they share that vision, like how you mentioned. And so I hope that we're able to continue to bring that energy out into our event. So I hope that those who are listening continue to support EastSide Cafe, and they feel like what we all feel when we walk in there, and you know, just the atmosphere and raising that consciousness without even being conscious that we're doing that, right? Because they're having these really impactful conversations, and just really even making those connections with different people, and, you know, reading those zines or supporting these events or going to an open mic or Women's Circle or Jiu-Jitsu or any of the classes and collectives that we have. It's like, I really hope people are getting enriched with all this like culture and all this knowledge and all this like good, beautiful energy, because a lot of the people, the collectives and the community work really hard to make that space what it is, and you know, that's why we want to continue having these events, so that you know, everybody continues to thrive together.
Something that Solchi told me a long time ago that always stuck with me was that we all have hidden talents within us that we don't know about until we find a space that allows us to like nurture those hidden talents and to really bring them out. And I think that's what, you know, spaces like EastSide Cafe, you know, we used to have Corazon del Pueblo, La Concha, these types of spaces really nurture that. So I think it's, you know, it's very important to keep supporting
definitely
those spaces.
Definitely. I agree 100%. Definitely continue supporting and continue. And there's different ways. There's different support. Like they're supporting coming in and helping out. What's like we have people come and even after like our events, oh, do you need help? Like clean up, and like, yes, please. You know, there's different ways to support coming in and having ideas and being like, hey, I want to have an event. Like, what does it take? Bringing in a proposal, and you know, like, yes, like, you know, that's what the space is for, and really like, you know, if you have an idea of an event or a workshop that's gonna really benefit the community, I think yes, you know, like we've had people come and do different workshops, and I know that we had an event on Saturday. I didn't get to go to the event, but it was really cool. You know, it was talking about what was happening. Do you know a little more information, Angela, on the Saturday event?
Yeah, it was a punk event for the people in the Philippines, and it was hosted by the Filipino community by someone. Their name is Mango, and the title I don't know how to pronounce it, but it was in their language, and it was translated "Screams of the Earth," and it was so cool. It was like they had a DJ, they had some workshops, they had a film screening before the punk music later in the evening. They had like this really great, well-known food vendor who serves like Filipino pastries.
Ooh.
And it was called Stan and Wolves. So it was like, something that you don't hear about every day. And it's just something very unique. I think, just with the East Side is like encouraging people to really think outside the box, and to tap into your culture as well as your creative side, and to really get engaged with the community, and as a way of community development and community building for sure.
Beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, and the space is there for people to, to use, to come with these ideas and with these events. So this print zine fest event, I don't know if it's a fest.
Pop-up.
Pop-up, yeah. So you guys put the call out for artists to participate. When is the event actually scheduled for?
March 28th, and it's from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then you had something, Maritza?
I think there were some questions on when the application deadline was.
Oh, yeah. We haven't put a deadline yet. So Angela, Maritza, all of us are meeting this week to talk about more of like the logistical parts. We just really wanted to put out that application and the date out so that people know and can reserve that date. Because I know people were already asking. Yeah. So we definitely wanted to like jump one step ahead and do that. But we'll start the planning and the logistical stuff and the deadlines as soon as possible, as soon as we meet. I think we're meeting on Thursday. So we'll know all the logistical stuff then.
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah, we're excited. I'm just really excited. This is like how Angela mentioned. This is our third one. So it's still in its infancy. Yeah. Right. Like it's still a baby.
Yeah, I mean, we could see the potential because we see a lot of people feeling so much like gratitude as well as just being appreciated. So I think that people are pushing for this as well.
Yes, I agree. Because I have we've had already a lot of people messaging us, asking us if we were going to have it already in like December. And so
wow, really?
Yeah. They're like, you better have it.
And then Angie was like, I think we need to put it out there. I was like, okay, let me work on the application. And the flyer, like the call out. And then Maritza's going to be bringing out the flyer. Yeah. So she's working on that.
I'm working on it.
Yeah. She's working on a really cool flyer with some really cool art. And then we'll be sharing that. We'll make the big reveal. We'll put it. Stay tuned on Instagram because we're going to post it.
No pressure.
It's going to be amazing. She's an amazing artist. Maritza Torres at Instagram. What's your handle?
Yeah, it's just Maritza Torres Art.
Yeah, Maritza Torres
with a
art.
S, with a Z, and then
yeah. She actually had. She's being so modest. She actually had a. She had her art displayed.
Oh yeah,
right down the street.
Yeah. Well, actually,
is it still
if
there?
you want to come, yeah, tomorrow's the last day,
there
so we're having a closing, at Espacio 1839.
Beautiful.
Yeah, tomorrow from 6 to 8. And I'll also be showing some video works, collaborative video from a friend, Adriana Guillen, and her collective.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and it's a performance dance and music that she's composed. So, and then also Muy Mimi will be playing music.
Yeah. So this is tomorrow at Espacio. I'm
Everyone's
there.
invited.
Everyone, tune in. Go tomorrow.
Yeah.
See you there so you can check out her art. It's amazing. She's being modest, but she has it up right now at Espacio, which is down the street from where we're at currently.
Yeah.
So that definitely stay tuned. Stay tuned for the flyer. But definitely stay tuned for the events that we have coming up. I know that we're going to be having lots more events for the month of so that's March. Month of May, we're going to be having our mercados. So we also organize mercados for the Mercado del Pueblo for EastSide Cafe. And so we'll be having the Mother's Edition in May 9th. And then we'll have a little something in June to pop up the summer and just celebrate. And then, our usual, we have something in the works. It's still in the works for the summer that we talked about. It's a big celebration mercado.
Ooh.
And we it's like my vision, my big vision, a celebration. Because how many years has it been since we got the space?
It's been maybe
It's
like
gonna be
3
3.
years.
3, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years. And we got the space
It was in the summer.
Yeah, in the summer. Like May was the urgency, right?
Right.
And then
So I think by June or July.
yeah. So we want to celebrate that. We want to, we want to really
Yeah.
celebrate
It's a
that.
big deal.
Yes.
Everything that's happened over there is a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. So we definitely want to celebrate that and celebrate, the work, and then also make a call out for more people to come and support, in different ways. So we're trying to figure that out, like how we're going to make that call out. But definitely, reserve that date. If you've never been to EastSide Cafe, come. I urge you to come and check it out.
Yes.
And ask us any questions. We're trying to make little buttons that say EastSide Cafe, ask us any questions.
Ask me anything.
So that you can come and approach us. We're friendly.
Please do that. Please do.
Yeah.
I'll do
Ask
it.
us any questions. Because people are always curious. And I love it when new people come in and and they want to know. And
You should have a greeter.
yeah, a greeter. Oh, I'm good at that. I used to be a hostess at a
And we
restaurant.
need shirts.
Yeah, we need shirts. Let's put it out there. Ooh. Oh, we need art for the shirts.
I don't want to monopolize.
Yeah. We'll talk. Let's talk. But yeah, definitely, a lot of things are in the works, but I feel like it's exciting. I think 2020 is
Super
exciting. Starting the year right.
It
Yeah.
is, yeah.
And making more events.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the Eastside Cafe, located at 5469 Huntington Drive North in El Sereno. There's not we don't have set hours.
No.
So check the calendar and if there's
Where's
something
the
interesting. The calendar is on eastsidecafe.org.
Yes.
So you can go there. There's a calendar with the schedule of all the classes that are going on all the time.
Yeah.
And then the events. And then, of course, there's Instagram and
Yeah.
Facebook where we post a lot of the day-to-day flyers and
Yeah.
just kind of what's going on.
Yeah, because people try to come in. Yeah, we don't have set hours, so don't come in and then hey, it's not open. But yeah, we definitely have the calendar. Check out the calendar, and then we have Instagram. I think Instagram has been a really good platform to really elevate the events and stuff that we've been having. So that's how usually we promote. That's how we've been promoting the events, and it's been working.
Maybe we can make flyers this time.
Ooh, yes, let's make flyers. Old school. Take it
Oh,
back
yeah.
old school.
Get a map point going.
Yeah. I don't know. Back in my day, we used to used to call a pager, and the pager would tell you where the parties were at.
Oh, yeah. Taking it back.
Yeah, taking it way back, So we gotta do something like that.
Let's do something crazy.
Autonomy number.
We can do whatever we want.
And people can call and see, okay, what's going on at the east side. Only a few people can have the. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, I want to thank you guys for coming in and sharing the information with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we got to do this every time there's an event. you
Yeah.
know?
Bring us in. We'll
We
come.
will, yeah. So I want to thank you guys for coming in. Thank you, Angie, for joining us over the phone.
Thank
Yes,
you,
of
Angie.
Yeah.
And you've been listening to Eastside Community Radio here on KQBH 101.5 FM, a community service of the Boyle Heights Art